The old man real. The old man real. The old man real. The old man builds. The old man builds is broken in the head. People not seeing reality has put them in the red. Where conscious and spirituality been stricken from the norm and replaced with the ignorance of basic magnetic form. The geometry of God keeps running through his head. That's what makes old man builds broken in the head. The old man builds. The old man builds. Spheres of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds.
Okay, there we go. Fixed it. All right. My name is Nathan, otherwise known as Old Man Bills. Let's get this going, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that thing was off. I thought it was on. Must have touched it. All right. So, the Graviflyer. I think there's a lot of preconceived notions about this thing because the original inventor himself did some things that probably looked a little shady. And I'll say this, there's some debunking videos about this thing out there. Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. Did it look like he had a rod under it one time? Yeah. Did I see a fishing string in the other video? Absolutely not. I mean, I don't know how he pulled that. Somebody said that. That was absolutely insane. Did I see this guy kick this thing and then lie over top of it and it still hovered? Yes, I did. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a mixed bag. You got some things that were wrong. And did he do it for ease? Did he do it because it wasn't working that day? I don't know. Did he actually create something and you get all the check marks that something was working? And that's kind of the crazy thing. So when you go to reverse engineer something, you have to be accurate to what they did. So Alexei went out and built this device, and we try to find everything that he did. Thankfully, Charlie C was able to purchase the device. Now, in saying that, there's a lot of components out there that probably don't make a lot of sense when you first look at them, and you really have to discover why he was doing certain things. I will say this. No matter if he made it fly or not, there are a lot of things in there in the parts that he put in, which make this device unbelievable. And I don't want to say this, there's a lot of discovery that happens in this thing. So here's what I was looking at. Did he get the rotation down? Did he get the static electricity on the disc, or was it magnetic? Well, it was static that he used, and I can clearly tell you that. He did not use magnetics. He went from the magnetic portion, he used a high voltage, very low amperage. He got static out of that DC flyback. There wasn't enough amps to push in there to get anything else. When he did that, I think most people just said, okay, put high voltage on it. Well, you had to look at what he used for the power source, and it was very low. So he got static out of that. That was on the top and bottom disc. He put the Tesla coil in the center portion, and he had the wire down the center. Same thing I do with the rod. And he was pulling the same thing. Now, in going through that whole thing, we all know what I did with the Tesla coil and stuff like that, and what the discoveries are there. So we understood he had some kind of a different energy going on in the device. Now, could it stay active after he turned it off? Well, it can if it stays in resonance and it's cold. I discovered that myself by putting the wire down the center of the Tesla coil, running it to my rodent coil, also to my bifilar coil, and it did the same thing. You would pull the wire, put it right in front of the camera, and it would stay on for about 30 seconds up to a minute sometimes, and then shut off. So as long as it was in resonance, it would stay on, which was a very, very tuned in clue of what was going on here. If that thing stayed in the air, like he said, then he had to be in resonance. So you knew he was playing with resonance in the system. And because he was playing with plates, he was into harmonics. So those two things became very evident right away. We saw that. We saw the voltages. What I did to the voltage, to be honest with you, I took two DC flybacks, put them in series with each other so I can pull a heavy amount of static out. Not a little bit. I wanted a ton of it. For those of you who don't understand, fright and find out is the motto I have because I will literally push these systems to the brink of disaster and then blow them up because I want to find out what this thing's doing. So I ran it in a heavy static. Once you put heavy static on a rotating plate, get ready for your whole room um, to come filled with static. And that's exactly what happened. It messed with the computer. Back in the old videos, you'll hear my computer doo-doo-doo-doo all day long. And, it's just because of that static. So I didn't have my Tesla coil hooked in for the longest time. I was just trying to figure out what was going on with the disc, what's going on with the magnets. And it became very evident what was going on with the magnets. They are cup magnets. So there is a steel cup on the bottom of them. And that means that the magnets are only directed in one direction. It will not pull a field like a conventional magnet. As you rotate it, there's no field on the sides of it. There's only a field going up. So it's only going to affect the center plate right up above it. That's one of the things I think people misunderstand about this is that there's some kind of magnetic field going on beyond that. And there's not. It's not side to side. It's not under it. All that gets taken away by putting that steel cup in there and just having the magnet on, go in the center. That removes all of that magnetic flow that you got going on. All that's gone. It's only got one side. So in saying that, what was very apparent from the beginning is when he used aluminum in the center disc and then he rotated the magnets, he was getting eddy currents. And you've probably seen I take out my center plate and I put on the top and bottom plates and I'll just rotate the top plate with no magnets. And then the magnets themselves on that bottom plate will start to rotate because of the eddy current. So that was a simple process to figure that out. Okay, we got the understanding that there's an eddy current going on there and that it's affecting the center disc. It also affects the top disc through the center disc. So it wasn't just to the center and that's it. The upper disc would slow because of the eddy currents. It would start to get in rhythm with the bottom one. That was a big discovery as well. So now you know that the two can be transformed based on the rotational speed of each one. So, taking that into consideration, we know that we had static on both discs. Okay. We knew that the bottom had more of a magnetic value because DC flybacks are based on a core going through them, a soft iron core. Then they have a wrap around that, and that's your magnetics or your negative right there. So it's got a lower value. The other part is the clear plastic wraps with a piece of looks like mylar on them, and they go several ones out. They're basically a diode because a magnetic field cannot form on the other side of them, so they can't push back. So they go one direction. That gives you high voltage, and that comes out the top. So you had high voltage on the top and basically a negative on the bottom, or a magnetic value flowing to that one. That one was a lot more magnetic. So it makes sense that he had that on there with the magnets that were pretty much just there for eddy currents. So in saying that, how did it adjust the top and bottom disc on this? See, that's kind of the thing that I don't think people really realize. Because of the eddy current, because the high voltage is tied together with the positive and negative, it would control the rotational speed and flow of whether they got into a rhythm or not. So the top disc and the bottom disc, it is one third of a wave. If you look at it in your scaling for the musical scale, they're about one third of each other, right? You got harmonics going on one third of each other. That's a scale of it, just like a Tesla coil would be one third. And that's what the scale was. Once you put them in that correct RPM, now they started to sequence together. They started to get in rhythm. Now they start to move together. Now they're harmonically balanced to each other. That's what would happen there. So those things were important to find out. The biggest thing is when I started hooking my Tesla coil in. Now, first thing that happened, I put it down the first top of my Tesla coil, this far down. And once you put the light to the side of your Tesla coil, it'd be no light. Then you get to the top 4 inches, it'd be different. So as soon as you got there, the actual energy in there was much higher. So it's just an anomaly that happens. So it was worth looking into and discovering more. Obviously, we know the rod down the center, which I look at. We got it sound tested, and the decibels were down to 20 hertz. Does that mean that the Tesla coil was at 20 hertz? Probably not. Does it mean the decibel level of the sound coming out of it was? Yes. So that was something interesting going on there. And when we started connecting in the Tesla coil, we had the high voltage running. What you started to see was as you turned up the amount of energy going into your Tesla coil, on the top and bottom disc, you have those wires that go onto them. Basically, what you start to see is a spark coming out even more. It starts to build up, go on a higher value. It meant that whatever field's going on from that Tesla coil and whatever field's going on from the high voltage, okay, or the static at that point, was interacting with each other. And they were creating more energy on that wire itself, right there as it contacted the plate, so that you knew that these two interacted in some way. So now that you knew that, you can play with it. Where do I bring the field? How much energy do I put into that center disc? Do I bring it to the point where it's interacting with it? Do I bring it to the point right below it? Those things became important in tuning this thing. So was able to discover if you want a big value out of this, you get them to spark over, because the spark itself was ionizing the air. Without the spark, it would work, but it takes more time. So there's two sides to look at it from that point. Do you want the ionization in the air right away? Do you want it over time? Because as soon as it goes in the rotating disc, it's going to make a hiss, just like in high voltage. You can't hear it. I can, at least. But it would make that, and it would ionize the air very slowly. So when Alexi said it takes 10 minutes to get this thing going, he was right. It took 10 minutes to ionize the air enough in order for his device to get in tune. That part was correct. And if you overdo it, it'd do it faster and you build up energy faster, but you would ultimately overshoot the target because your device would not hold energy in it. It would immediately deplete as soon as you turn things off. So he was right. He was 100% right in how that worked. So what we found later, and remember, you got to reverse everything that you do to make sure that you got it correct. I started doing testing on how far the Tesla coil was pushing the field out in this thing. And I would push it out and just see, okay, here's the limits of this thing. This is where we're at, where the light bulb lights up. There's enough energy that goes out to this point. Not a problem. I think most people can agree with that. They've seen the video that I did. Here's what gets you. Remember I told you the static electricity. 2 DC flybacks put on there, put out a heavy amount of static electricity, and it's quick to get around the room. As soon as we turned on the Tesla coil, that static electricity went away. And it took a little while to kick in your brain because you're still putting the same amount of static in it, but now you got a Tesla coil field going where they just canceling each other out and giving the energy to the disc itself right there at the contact point. You see, I didn't know right away. So we had to push it a little further. In reversing it by putting the static electricity on the center plate, and then we put the Tesla coil on the top and bottom plate just by running a wire straight from the top all the way through the center of the Tesla coil and back down to the bottom. What it would actually do is as you turn the amount of energy in your Tesla coil up, it threw that static field even faster across the room. And you can dial it in. You can turn it where it just pushes it right to your computer, which is, 15 feet away. And then you could turn it down and bring it back away from there. It was moving the field itself. So when you looked at it, you knew that the reverse was going on as well because you couldn't hear the static sound on the computer as soon as the Tesla coil field activated in the conventional fashion. Therefore, you knew you had two fields going on there. You had one holding in the other or pushing it out, depending on the configuration you went with. Now you had something. Because when calculating the value of this much metal, it's 3 pounds. Lift 3 pounds off the surface of the earth would be over 1,000,000 volts. And we were never going to get 1,000,000 volts in this thing. And I wouldn't even be near it if we did. That's just inconceivable. So there had to be a secondary process going on. In finding this field, let me just say this. It goes beyond the point of does this thing ever lift or not. This field alone is worth gold. It is 100% worth gold. You can just do this in your career and you'd be done. Once you find that field, you found it. And here's the reason why. Because when he put this field in there and then he ionized it, in there he's following Hutchinson all the way. Tesla coil, high voltage static. He's got ionization going on. He's right there. He's using it. Hutchinson used the room to hold in everything and create that bubble. This thing's creating a field bubble around it as it sat. 100% this thing would make somebody's career if they did this. And this is exactly what this field did. So did Alexei create something special here? You know what? He did. And that's kind of the thing, man. I mean, how can you discount that from that man when he created that field? He literally created the bubble around this thing with accuracy. And you know what? I can't say enough about that. It really did go around there and work in that fashion. So once we knew that, now we move on and we look at the rest of the device. So he's got a bubble going. That means the calculation of energy is different. But how is he getting the energy in there? Because the wire down the center of a Tesla coil does not work in a conventional fashion. It does not work at all like a conventional fashion. Let me just tell you that. It requires the ground in order to pull the energy through it. You see, it's pulling the energy from the ground itself. So when you do this kind of work, you have to find out, okay, positive the Tesla coil is attached to the number 2. He didn't do that. He put the thing down the center. He clearly showed it. He clearly showed tests that were doing it. When you do it in testing anywhere, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to pull the energy through it somehow. You're going to have to pull the ground through the entire thing. So, sorry, man, I'll answer the questions in the chat a little bit. I just need to get through this first part, okay? You have to pull the energy through. So, as soon as you put a ground on this thing, the energy flows into it. So, if you have a bubble that's created, in order to fill that bubble with energy, it had to be grounded. You could not hang it anywhere. You could not have it up in the air. You just had to have it grounded. That way, it can pull from the ground itself into the device and fill it up with energy, okay? It had to pull it in that way. It's just the way the system worked. It's not conventional push energy. This looks more like a PNP circuit, not an NPN circuit. So NPN's pushed energy, PMPs pulled through the system. This is more like that. It pulled it through the system. So, in doing that, you discovered where the energy amplification came from. As soon as it sat on the ground, it pulled energy into the device. Now you knew why he did it. It never sat on the counter, never sat anywhere else. This is why it would spark as soon as it came off the ground a little bit. You'd start to see this thing sparking with the ground. Now, I have replicated that where it does lift a little bit and it does spark. You can take your Tesla coil with the rod down the center and run it right across the concrete, it'll spark as well. Now you know you got something. So you're following what he's doing. You have energy pulling in the way he has it. You have the field bubble going on. You have the static in it. Every single thing that he was doing matched exactly what should happen. I mean, I can't explain it any more than to tell you that when you go and do the tests on this thing, it's working like that. What is the one problem that I consistently have with this thing? It was built like a piece of crap, is the problem. It wasn't built to an accurate scale. Man, I would have loved to have discs that were, 1/8 solid aluminum, perfect to rotate, get a nice harmonic on them. It would have been a beautiful process. But he used the textured aluminum for a reason, and I can't discount that. For me personally, with the harmonic part of it, it would have been a lot easier to tune. There's also something going on that was discovered in this device when it came to the rotating disc. And you only found this if you put the Tesla coil on the top and bottom plate. The only way you find this is to do that. Once you did that, you were able to pull a beat frequency right out of the top disc. So you put your light over it, and the light itself would flash on and on based on the beat frequency of the craft. Like I said, you only found this if you reversed how it was connected so that the discs themselves in rotation were connected to the Tesla coil. You found the beat frequency. What does this mean? Well, it doesn't mean much for, the disc right there, but it's telling you the relationship between the top and bottom disc in the beat frequency. It's also telling you a relationship between the Tesla coil and the high voltage. That in there has to be a developed beat frequency. What is the biggest mistake I made in building this thing? On the very bottom, okay, there is a strip, and he hooks all of his wires into it. It started to beat frequency there and then beat frequency again when it got up to the regular part of the whole flyer. That's the part I missed. It was not able to do it. So you would get an offbeat frequency on the top, and then you get it resonant ringing. An offbeat frequency on top and then resonant ringing. So it would throw it right out of whack. As soon as it got to the point where you wanted it in the correct harmonic value, it would immediately throw it off. Why? Because the beat frequency overcame it. This is only known if you know how to play with the Tesla coil and high voltage. You'll find that beat frequency. You'll find what it is. It was a strange thing when I found it. I thought nothing of it. Just looked cool that the light was bleeping on and off, right? It was the answer of getting this thing to stop throwing the harmonic, because it would get there, it would be balanced, you'd pull energy in, and then boom, it would be gone. You could build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up, and it would start getting real good and start shaking and start being right in the correct resonance, gotten ready to take off. Okay. You get one leg coming off the ground and then boom, it hit the wrong harmonic and the thing would go flat. It just sucked. It royally sucked. I mean, I don't know how to tell anybody else that. I couldn't get this thing to even figure out why. It would build up, build up, build up, and then boom, it was gone. It wasn't until I started thinking about the beat frequency and I started to understand. This thing is working different than I thought it was in the beginning. I was balancing the harmonics and everything in the plates. I got that all adjusted. I got all of my resonance rings to line up. What I discounted was behind those resonance rings was that stupid beat frequency, and I ignored it. That right there will cost you your whole project. Let me tell you that. It it's an absolute killer, man. It 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 should not be there. It is there. It's something that has to be compensated for. As soon as you knew this, you knew why you failed. And it's something that I still have to correct today. It's picking up a ton of energy. I don't have a problem there. It's got enough energy to pick this thing up. It does not have enough consistency to do it in a way that would lift this thing off the ground and hover. Not with that beat frequency in there unaccounted for. It just won't do it. So I have to compensate for that in this project. And that's why I haven't released a lot of information on this thing, because I couldn't overcome a simple hurdle. And I know a lot of people keep telling me, oh my God, put copper in it, put this in there, put this in there. Dude, it's a reverse engineering project. We do it based on the builder's, specifications and what he did. Trust me, the first thing I'd love to do is to take these plates, throw them in the trash, all three of them, and start over with something that actually makes sense. Why did he use the plates the way he did? Well, it has to do with things going back and forth. We said they're harmonically balanced, right? Well, we haven't talked about the piezo buzzer itself yet. You see, that was kind of the key of what was going on here. When you tuned it, and it has a jewel thief circuit on it, it's not an ultrasound machine. It is a jewel thief circuit that's on it. Okay, let's just get that clear. We don't use ultrasound in this machine. We use a jewel thief circuit. It brings in the energy, and then it amplifies the energy in a cold energy circuit. If there are too many amps and there's too much magnetic value, it will not do its job. It can't. It fails in a magnetic field. When it's mostly electricity that's going through it or voltage, then it amplifies. That's the way those piezos work. So, what was it doing? It was pushing down the center plate. It was just making it move. That was the whole point of it. It sent out a pulse wave that pushed down the center plate. It was basically a speaker that when you turned it on, boom, it put a little pulse on the center plate. What does that do to your disc? If they're in the perfect distance from each other, top to bottom, like this, the effect is this. You put two plates together, you put voltage on them. As you pull them apart, the voltage increases. So what he was doing was slowly increasing the voltage. It was creating a vacuum, and the vacuum then got filled in with energy. And then he would keep doing it until it had enough energy to lift. That was the process going on with that device. It was all in that little bit. So that cheap plate that he put in the center, there was a reason for it, because he needed the motion. I bypassed this several times by tapping the outside of the plate, and it would start to pick up energy. Why? Because I was bending the plate. And as I bent the plate, it moved it. And when it moved it, it did that same effect. It's a well known effect in physics that you could do that. You can multiply energy that way. So this thing here was able to get this thing to pull in the extra energy. And because it was in a field bubble, just understand this, for everybody out there who likes all of these Evos, or, these lightning balls, whatever you want to call them, this is the exact effect you are looking for. You need this effect to work. Absolutely 100%. I know you probably don't understand it yet, but this field bubble is exactly what makes it go up in this atmosphere that we live in. That's it. You have to create it. If you do not create it, you do not get the effect. You can create it in a vacuum chamber. You can do other things like that. You will not get it in the air without this bubble. Now, with that said, it also tells you it's holding in quite a bit of energy inside that bubble. That's why it became important. because as he's pushing this thing, it's amplifying energy, amplifying energy. Guys, all of this is all in my notes. It's all in the videos that I showed. Everything in this was right. He was able to build a field bubble, fill it up with energy, and get this thing to work. Now, like I said, the hardest part is the harmonic on this with that beat frequency because it's not working the way you think it is. It throws you off. If you don't account for that beat, it throws you off. Now you're going to find this in Viamanos when you see the two shafts that are the same size and then the other two are different sizes, you're going to get a beat frequency between them. It's the same process here, guys. It's part of anti-gravity. So it has to be accounted for and fixed. Now, the magnets themselves, they do a whole lot. Now, once they interlock in that eddy current, that's pretty much their job. You say, well, they're creating a grounding effect, something like that. It could be. It always is negative on the bottom of the plate and always is positive on the top of the plate. And as you push that piezo disc, what it's doing up there is it's changing the entire thing. Okay. So your center plate will be positive on the top and negative on the bottom of it at all times when you run this thing. You take your static meter and find that out all day. What happens is the negative from the bottom no longer becomes negative, it becomes positive. When you get positive on that, it changes where your negative is. Your negative now becomes this small plate on the bottom, not the center plate itself. Now it changes how much energy in this. This is why when I tell you about lifters, there's two different types of lifters. There's ion lifters and those that work on field, changing the field in order to get it to lift. Now, you have to do a lot of extensive studies of your own to figure this out, but it's absolutely 100% true. This is the principle it works on to lift. There are two things going on here. One is the lift factor. The second is the bubble. You have to create the bubble or the lift factor doesn't work. Okay? That's just flat out how it works. Okay, no bubble, no, don't pass go, no collection, $200, you're done. Okay, you have to create it. So, with that said, that's the process that's going on. It is not lifting by ion wind. Anybody who ever thought that is out of their mind. This thing cannot lift on ion wind. You cannot create enough ion wind. 2.4 meters per second is all you would ever get out of it. I've run this thing in fog tests. I've run it in every which way to see exactly how much is there. I have a little air meter, and I can tell you right now, 2.4 meters per second is the most that you're ever going to get out of the ion wind. It is a joke. It is not the way it's going. It is used to ionize the field. That's what you're doing. When Alexei ran the red light test, people were up on him and saying, oh my God, that's just a poor man's way of using a thermal camera, right? Well, it actually wasn't. And here's the thing. He showed you where the field was. It very clearly picked up the field and where it was. So for those people out there that saying that kind of stuff, they really didn't know what they were talking about. This thing showed the field in exactly where it was in his craft. That's genius. Absolutely genius. People fight all day long to find out where their fields are. If you could tell me exactly where the field was and outline it, man, perfect, dude. I could tune something down to the last little drop, man. Every little bit out of it I can get for you. If I could see exactly where that line was, man, we'd have things just in a beautiful, beautiful tuning then. The problem is thermal cameras won't pick this up. Not in that way. I don't know what light he used because I bought like 5 or 6 different red lights and they haven't worked. So whatever he used was something good. And I've taken my camera, I put it out of focus, everything that I possibly could. I spent $1,000 on a camera just to put the thing out of focus to do it. Still couldn't find it in the same way he did. And there's nothing on that bulb when you go over look outside. He didn't mention anything about what it was. He just said that it worked. Really, it took a long time and was frustrated with that. In the end, I could tell you this. Number one, it didn't lift off the air and hover. Number two, it did pick up the legs on it. And it did spark on the ground. Is this something that needs to go forward? Yeah, it does. And at some point, I'll get this thing fixed and get it flying. But I'm not there yet. I'm just not there. Okay. It does special things. It shows you the fields. It gives you everything you want in anti-gravity. It's just one step away. And I've been on this one step for quite a few months and I get really frustrated. That's why I went into the Tesla coil and looked at every possible thing I could and what was I missing? What was I missing? I looked over and over and over it again. I had to figure out exactly how every single part of this thing worked, down to every last detail. I could tell you this. Once I fix that beat frequency, we should start to see something out of this craft. That's when it'll start working. What does it tell you about any kind of UFO or anything out there? It's very simple, and all of them do it. Every single one you see, T.T. Brown, it could be Otis T. Carr. I don't care which one you want to look at. The facts aren't going to change. You must ionize the air. You must have a static field. You must have a Tesla coil field, or I call it the radium field. Those things are a must. You must take the inside of that field that creates from that bubble between the static and the outside radiant or the Tesla coil field, and you must ionize it and get rid of anything else that's in there. It has to fill properly on its own time, not yours. You have to let it go slowly and build up over time. Those things are an absolute must. What is the other part? You have to create harmonics in this thing to break gravity. We see it all the time, horses on a bridge, too many people on the bridge, beat frequencies. We start to see it in the frequency that they're at. It becomes harmonically messing up with the bridge because it's at the same frequency, so the things start going out of whack. That's the exact process that you need. That's it. You don't have that, you don't have it. You don't have a field bubble, you don't have it. Those are the simple things that you're going to need. Why? Well, we see this when we look at the northern lights and stuff, and we start to see the lines that come out of it, right? You probably never looked at those too much. You probably just thought it was pretty glow. Look at it again. Because what you're going to start to find is the same thing you find coming out of a Tesla coil. You're going to see frequency in there, and you're going to start seeing the little lines, okay? Right inside that glow, that nice tendril that comes out, it's going to be lines in it. It's the same thing that goes on with the northern lights. When you understand that that's the process that's going on there, you understand what's going on. You literally have a giant field of a radiant energy going on, just like you would in a vacuum chamber when you have positive and negative and it pulls it out everywhere and the lights everywhere. That's what we're in. You don't see it break down until you get to the northern lights and you start to see those things and they break out like the tendrils of a Tesla coil, and you start to realize, hey, that's what we need to do. That's what happens when you start having things in a field flip. And that's the part that you're going to need for anti-gravity. You cannot get to a bifield Brown effect without getting that. So that basically comes from the bubble you create. Once you create that bubble, you have that. You're going to be able to manipulate that because now that you have that bubble and you're in resonance, now the resonance that you're putting in has the same effect as if, horses on a bridge. It will create harmonics to put you in that correct field. Now you can move the energy in one direction. Think about that. Bifield Brown effect is being used in this particular craft by the piezo disc itself. Just like I told you, they have one direction to it. It only goes up and it only falls down. If it only goes up, and you know that you're taking the positive from the plate and the negative right under it and turning that negative into a positive and making it going one direction, what happens? It's using the Byfield Brown effect to do it in order to lift. It's all there. It is 100% there in the accuracy of the way it works out. There's no getting around it. Everything that he put in there was 100% correct. Now, did he fake something? I don't know. I mean, I can't really tell you. Because I'm not at the end of where I want to be with this thing, I don't want to make any kind of definitive statement. Okay. Do I know that he created quite a bit of effect that goes into this that would be anti-gravity worthy in anybody's lab? Oh God, yes. This is man, this is like a dream come true to find all this stuff. You literally can write books just on the field of this thing. I mean, he had this before the Super Force ever came out. Let me just tell you that. He knew what it was. He built it into his craft. Once you started to reverse engineer it properly, you saw everything he had to offer. Everything. Then you started looking at every other UF craft and you go, man, this is scary. Because every one of them does it. Let's just go OTCX1. The center is the Tesla coil. We know that. We know the outside works on the bifield bound effect with the C-shaped transformers that are on the outside with the windings going right there. We knew he that guy had omnidirection. It goes any which way he wanted to. We knew that the Tesla coil is powering it. We also knew that it went into the Utron, which the Utron is a frequency generator. For those who don't know that, that's what it does. It generates the frequency of the craft itself. It then goes into a capacitor on the flat plate in the center. That capacitance goes to your Tesla coil. It's what regulates your Tesla coil. You literally are putting the capacitance into your Tesla coil for the whole craft. The outside skin of it works as a attraction to static electricity. So when you get it up in the ionosphere, what happens is it pulls in energy to it and it'll create an over unity effect, just like he told you it would. That's what he said in his interviews, and that's exactly what it does. It acts as a corona motor on the outside of that craft, pulling in the energy. Absolutely outstanding. It's working on all the same effects. We still have static. We still have a Tesla coil. We still have everything else. The harmonics are all there. You want to go T.T. Brown. What did he do? He created capacitive plates in order to get the static amount in there so he can charge it at a certain level. Why do you think he's looking at the K value? You'd know this if you did the paper lifter test, which basically take a paper lifting UFO, put it between two fields, and it would lift up based on the amount of static in it. It was a pure static experiment. When you knew that, you knew how T.T. Brown was building his plates. He's looking for a high K value. He needed static potential in that value that would stay consistent. He literally built an electret in those plates. That's what he did. He built in a permanent electret. When I was talking to Sean about this, understand this. The electret with the foil over top of it keeps a permanent value. When you remove the foil, the value goes away. What is that telling you about the electret itself? That it needs to be in a state where it's a permanent value. T.T. Brown figured this out and put it in those big plates that he used. The center of his device was a Tesla coil. Who would have ever thought that, right? Here you go with the same things going on. You have your Tesla coil. You have your static going on. You're creating the same bubble. They didn't need a monster amount of energy to lift. They needed to understand what type of energy they needed and what type of harmonics they needed. Every single one of these crafts works the exact same way. They all take advantage of the same process. I can tell you this. I think Alexei lifted this thing, and I think at some point mine will too. And I'm not trying to be boastful. I'm not trying to say that from any other way but this. I have seen way too many things that tell me that it's like the other crafts. In order for it not to lift would be probably impossible if we did the right thing. I am not at the level that did the right thing yet. This thing, it's way beyond what people think. I know people go, I looked at it. Yeah, no, you didn't. You looked at it for a second and moved away and just said, it's this, it's that, whatever, and created your own assumptions on it based on what you think. And I can tell you this, you didn't look into it and build every process and build everything into it the way you're supposed to do it, or else you would have found a lot more there. There's people that get paid, God, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, from companies to go out and find this bubble. And here it is right in front of you in a craft that you said was pure crap. You know what? That should be your penance right there that you have to deal with. You couldn't find it because you didn't take a piece of junk that you thought it was and didn't figure it out. Well, that's your fault, not mine. I figured it out. This thing absolutely has it. Absolutely. And it's working in the correct manner. So, a lot of energy there, a lot of fields there, guys. There's a lot more in this craft than you thought there was. And everything has to be balanced perfectly, which means you kind of have to deal with the crappy nature of what he used the parts as until you can get it perfect. And then you can switch whatever the heck you want. And I wouldn't care. All right, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. We had a bunch of questions. I'm sorry, guys. I know some people really wanted to ask a question. Let me see. Here we go. And this is probably why I should have never answered the question. My boy, don't ever call me that. Negativity is all we won't take off without the dynamic of core 235, 238, and it's all a waste of time. Well, maybe. Be like a Scout David, be better than him. He did the real deal motivation. Well, I found out about. Okay. All right. Well, maybe it's a good thing I didn't answer the questions. Look, I'm sorry. This is the way this thing worked. And I don't have a whole lot of time for negativity on it. That's why I stopped showing a lot of the progress that I make on it. I get frustrated with it because I'm going through this thing, man, just trying to figure out what it does. Okay. Not out here to make a ton of money on it. Okay. That's not my whole goal. My goal is to give it away for free. And, negativity never happens. Never does well with me. So, sorry. Yeah. Richard, thank you for coming in, man. I know Richard's really big on this, man. Appreciate that. Yeah. Let's see. Why is there any negativity here? I don't understand. One of God's greatest blessings is his teacher. I thank you for that, man. I really do. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not trying to tell you things that I don't see. If I see it, I have a test that shows it. Now we may quibble about some of the wording used and stuff like that, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You know, I like to call the way I see things going. Other people have a more technical term for it. Hey, God bless you, man. Not a problem there. Don't have any problem with that. Will it shock you if it touches static electricity? Of course, you're going to get a little bit of a shock. Um, it'll also stick to your clothes, which, by the way, when he leaned over on it, his shirt was completely stuck to that top disc. Well, there you go. He had built up enough static in there to get it. Anyway, guys, that's why I avoid saying it, man. You can run around and put things on strings and whatever. I really don't give a flying. You know what? I'm not doing anything like that. I have no interest in that. It's not going to further science. Not going to further my career. Not going to do anything else, dude. I'm an old man who just wants to figure it out because I want my kids to live in a different world than I do. So, yeah. Won't touching it kill you? No. Like I said, we're not putting 1,000,000 volts in this. We're Not doing that, buddy. No, it won't. I've been hit with full force of this thing, and it won't. Even when it builds up enough energy in there, um, it's not something you want. I can tell you that. But no, because it's mostly on the cold electricity side. Now, when you start flipping fields, you're going to have problems. That's when the energy builds up. But if you're smart enough to know which one they're in because you built it, then you'd be all right. But I've never gotten that heavy of a shock from it, and this has built up a ton of energy. Let's see. He wants to lick it. Oh, no, that's funny. Well, you see, it's not the voltage you have to worry about; it's the amperage. So I can probably tell you, man, there's over 60,000 volts in it, but I can also tell you that there's milliamps. There's not enough amperage in this thing. So it takes both of them to get you in high levels. That's why AC is so dangerous. So DC, it moderates itself. It as the voltage goes up, the amperage goes down, so it moderates itself. In AC, it does not. You're going to get a high voltage and a high amperage, and you're screwed. That's why I never use AC in this thing, only DC. Um, Conducting a heartbeat outside of you. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time and work with the amazing device for all of us and for your sharing the knowledge, brother. Right on, man. Appreciate it. Love the picture. Let's see. Is it hot? No, this device is fairly cold on the inside. It creates a little bit of heat on the outside with the field that's out there. It will do that. Um, yeah, maximize the reactance. Absolutely. You know that rod down the center kind of acts like a vacuum. Think about it. If you're pulling the negative from the ground, right, through the test to the light bulb in order for it to energize more, and then it goes back to there, it's acting like a vacuum. Now, where does that energy go in the vacuum? I have no idea. I know it's compressing in towards that rod and it's creating a different state. And because of that state, things work in the opposite direction that they should. And it's literally pulling the ground in. And we've seen that in Sean's experiments and mine. He gets the ground to order to shoot voltage right at his Tesla coil. It's the same thing here. Matter of fact, I have a test on the table that I'm doing. Thing wouldn't work. And all I'm trying to do is resonate two Tesla coils, and they were out of frequency from each other. So they shouldn't work, right? So I was trying to put capacitance on the back end in order to get them to work. What the craziest thing happened, okay? I didn't have anything connected to the Tesla coil, but as soon as I grounded it on that secondary one that was sitting off by itself, it worked. That was it. It just turned on. It just needed to be grounded. It was looking for a ground. I use an ungrounded Slayer exciter circuit, and that's probably why it was looking for the ground, and it pulled the ground right through there. It was close enough in a resonance value that the ground actually tuned it for me. Interesting, huh? I had another anomaly come up on that too. It didn't like to stand straight up on that number 2 coil by itself. It liked to lay down on its side. Imagine that. It's just sitting like this on the table. I picked up a heck of a lot more energy. The other one's standing straight up. This is just to the side, man. Picked up a lot more energy. Kind of interesting, man. Kind of keep it in the back of your brain. I don't know what to make of it at this point. I just know that it did it. So, yeah, really cool process, man, when we do all this stuff. Let's see. The energy was pushed out before the field, so the vacuum forms. The energy tries to fill the vacuum. There you go. Well, that's a good explanation. Right on, John. Let's see. I was trying to extend the battery life, which worked, but is created a lot of radiant heat. Yeah. What were you trying to extend the battery life in? Kind of interesting. Yeah, that heat's a killer for your system, man. Makes everything go bad. You got to have moderation in heat. The secret in geometry fields before currents flow, as well as where you place your switch before the coil, after the coil, both determines how the percentage of the coil before a current. Yes, I agree with that. You got to know where all these things are. That's why you'll see 100 stupid little tests that I do, and they're just about putting capacitors in the right place to find the balance in a system. Like for instance, when you take a Tesla coil and run it by itself, out there, you got to add capacitance to this thing on the backside sometimes in order to pull it in resonance. So yeah, I was working through that. And then if you do that and you ground it, you have to run the capacitance through the ground. So what I mean by that is you have normal capaciting switches. One of them has to be grounded in order for the side to go through it and go to the ground so you can balance it with the ground and amplify the energy. So I learned that the hard way. Um, and it'll teach you how to tune the back end of a circuit to resonate it. And you'll have to know that because at some point you're going to have to put a full bridge rectifier in there to break this symmetry of this thing, or you're going to have to put capacitance in there that will break the symmetry depending on how much you put in. But if you just got one, it won't do it. So you got to decide which one you want to use. As soon as you put in the full bridge, it creates heat, and heat changes the capacitance of that circuit itself. So it'll change the value of the coil. It'll actually bring down the resonance value of the coil. So normally when you build these things, they're too high in resonance anyway. You always want to bring them down. So that's how you do it. Oh, let's see. By the way, that video I put out earlier, that light, the big light bulb, man, inside there was so beautiful with that gas in there. It would swirl like this. It was so much better in person. It would swirl like this, right? Just a little bit, or just do this. And then all of a sudden, man, I turned down the amount of energy going in, and the bulb had sufficiently heated enough. And then it started, man, making like a swirl that would go around each other like that. That was so cool, man. I really, really liked that image of that. That was cool. Let's see. Turns the voltage field into the capacitor, folds half of itself, and half of itself current gets frozen between them. Nice. Love that. Shit. They look great. Yeah. Man, those that's so much neater in person because you could see more detail in them. That's what was really cool about them. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And by the way, I think there was some kind of mercury in there, mercury vapor or something like that. It came out real blue, looked real nice. I got this gigantic thing. It's a spotlight, and that's what those light bulbs go into. I mean, the bowl of this thing's huge like this, man. I'm not even joking. And it's got this gigantic thing on the bottom. I think it's 220 volts or something. And the guy I got it from said they're like school gymnasium lights that go up in the rafters and stuff and have the bright lights on them. But dude, this thing was just out of this world, man. And I didn't have enough energy to put in this thing to get this thing to fully brighten up. And I'm sure it's got a ton more energy. I was just excited the gas in it. So sodium or mercury, I'm not sure. It was blue, so it might have been sodium. I'd have to look at the manufacturer because it does not say on the bulb. Uh, I used wire around it and I was pulling energy out of the outside of the bulb because the outside of the bulb had heat. It gave it a value. As soon as it did that, I was able to pull it out. It was only when the light bulb started to heat up, though. Then it put energy into the coil that was wrapped around it. And then you were able to light bulbs off of it and stuff like that. You were able to connect it to another light bulb that had the same stuff in it and get it to light. So, yeah, that heat itself is in the conversion of amperage in a DC field. So, pretty interesting how that works. Let's see what we're doing. Okay. The experiment was to extend the life runtime of the AC Interrupted power in the battery by placing the center of the copper. Okay. Gotcha. Yep. Free heater is what you got. You got growing bulbs. Nice. 1,000 watts. Man, that's a lot of wattage. Thin wire will cause discharge. So check this out. You might want to try this, Dennis. Get an insulated wire that's really well insulated wire, like a high voltage line. It's got really thick insulation on it. Put that down the center and just see, once you put it into something and then it comes out of it like a rodent coil or another coil, anything like that, you can start touching the ends of it, man. It won't be hot anymore. It'll be cold. And then all you're doing is changing the capacitance with your body, and it'll change values. It's pretty interesting. I did it, and Ian did it as well. Let's see. Where did I put that? I have no idea. Yeah, free heater. Trust me, I made a lot of free heaters in my time, man. This room gets unbearable. It's like my wife's running the dryer, and I can't turn on my air in here. Nice. Yeah. So you use that high voltage line. So basically, if you had a tube TV and that line that you get from it, that red line, that's what you want to use. Those are really good at it. Asked the Spartan Ham Radio about his experiment. He was getting 40, let me get this right, 40 kV when the lightning was going on, is what he was picking up on his, what was it? Ham radio or radio that was going on in his experiment. And it was pretty interesting, man. Yeah, he sent that to me. So anybody out there pick that up on a ham radio and know what he's doing? That's what he's asking. If you have any videos you could show us that you didn't post, us viewers deserve something a little special. Always give you something special. Let's see. Well, let's just show that one that I was just talking about. Show this to the members. Take a look. I have my Tesla coil set up. Now, this wire here that goes in there, it goes to nothing right now. I just have it on there. Has 2 loops of, 14 gauge wire. Same thing as in your wall. Tesla coil is barely on right now. And it has the wire down the center. Now that's just connected to the bottom down here. Just the outside, not to the very bottom of it. So, here's what I'm looking at. I now want to turn up the power a little bit. And I'm going to take this wire that was wrapped around, and I'm going to put it on grounding sources and see what happens. You're going to notice this bulb is going to radiate the energy out. Okay, we can clearly see that the energy went up. The Tesla coil, you can see, is putting out some energy there. Bulbs on the table a little bit lit up. Let's see what we can't do. Look at that, it's going even brighter. Now we're not connected to any power source, just to the bulb. But there's energy going through there. You can see it sparking off. That right there is an interesting occurrence. I mean, look, yeah, we're getting light up next to the Tesla coil. There's no question there. But when you get to here, it dies down. You can obviously see the energy less. As soon as I connect it there, it brightens up. Again, this wire is simply right here. It's on the outside of the bulb. You saw the connection. So the energy's passing through the glass. Now, usually when we did it earlier, I didn't get any connection from the glass. Is this a special type of glass? I don't know. Could be. Could it be that the gas is radiating out and getting to this? Yes. I'll let you guys make the determination on that, but it's just interesting how the energy's passing through it. It's definitely radiant. So, anyway, I just thought that was an interesting occurrence that would happen like that. Well, we could see it doesn't light it up any brighter when I touch this though. Normally, if it's going right through the glass, this bulb should light up even brighter, and it's not. Definitely exciting this wire on the outside. So, don't know exactly what to call it, just thought it was an interesting effect, and I thought I'd make sure I share it before I lose it. Yeah, a pretty interesting experiment going on there. So the wire, is it a load? Maybe. It's just, you know what? It's just one of like anomaly things that happens, and you just got to show it when it does so people can see it so we can make a real determination on it. But I just thought it was interesting, kind of going on there, man. I took okay, you get these things in your speakers right there for when you have an amplifier. You get this round toroid, right? It's got a bunch of wires coming out of it. It's a transformer. I lit up one of those today. Basically, I hooked every single wire of it except for the one that I put the rod down the center of my Tesla coil and lit up every one of the wires. Put a bulb on each one and they all lit up. I saturated that core. This energy loves to saturate things. And it still had an iron ferrite core in it. Didn't matter. It gave it more amperage. So, let's see. You're a sad panda. I finally broke up with your girlfriend. Wow, that sucks, man. That sucks, man. Yeah, sorry to hear that, man. Let's see, Nathan, you use about 10 amps. You need a parallel circuit power supply, low ohms, high volts, micro. Let's see, microamps makes 1 watt. For gravity, you need 1/4 plus. I don't think that I put 10 amps in anything on that, anything that I do. To be very honest with you, there's 2 amps for every 10 volts. So the max voltage I go is 40. Normally, I only run this thing at about 15 volts. That's about it. So 2 1/4 amps is where I'm at. 2.5, somewhere in that vicinity. I don't like heavy amperage in circuits because it hurts you. So yeah, I don't run a lot of amperage in anything that I do. Wow. Okay, I don't want to get into your relationship thing, crypto. I hope everything works out for you, brother. You're a good man. So I have everything else correct. Well, maybe. Um, yeah. Let's see. Let's see. European voltage may be required. No, I went down that road, man. No. Not so much there. It works better sometimes with the battery if you're pulling the negative of the battery instead of the ground. Some things work better in that configuration. This particular one wasn't one of them. Go over the other part. I'll have to look it up. Give me a second. You know what? I wanted to show something. Let me find it real quick.
Ain't no walls across the line. There's a rare few who think outside the box together for the crew. To break the equations, not bound to any rule. Exposing to the world the universe's own view. It takes the talent of the craftsman. It takes the mind of the fool to make the vision realize energy and matter in a duel. To a break, to a duel. The old man Bills was running through his head. Cheryl probably got it hiding under his bed. Penny up the ante, making power for days. Don't listen to a word that the straight dope says. Ain't no walls across the line. There's a rare few who think I'm.
This is pretty cool right here and what's going on. You can see it just dancing inside of there, man. Yeah, this is wild looking. You see it so close together there and then it pulls apart. Yeah, plasma. I love the beautiful blue glow this thing puts off too. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. The in person, this is so much better of an effect. It came out so much more clear. And man, I put the camera right up to this thing and zoomed in all I could to get, these shots here. But you can see as you turn down the power a little bit, man, they faint a little bit. But if you have too much power, they come out different. He wants to touch it. He wanted to lick it earlier. Now he wants to touch this one. Oh, why is the sky blue? It probably has to do with something the gases. Nice. Dude, you got your coil? Right on, brother. I hope you really appreciate it, man. That thing is bitching. I'd love to see it if you do some testing on it, man. Get it up and running. I sent you an email on how to start it up and everything. Hold on, let me take this off the thing because, man, whatever you do, if you go to plug it into a separate power source or something like that, the red wire is always positive and the black wire is always negative. And you'll see that when you plug it into the side right there. If you wanted to hot wire it, take the little power pack that's in it that goes to the fan and just plug it into the bottom portion of it. And it'll turn on the circuit at a very low voltage, but it'll still run. You can just verify it runs and stuff like that, dude. That thing's awesome, brother. So yeah, right on, man. I'm glad you got it safe and it looks awesome, brother. Those coils are pretty clean, man. All kinds of fun's coming your way, brother. 3D printed, everything is sweet. Nice. Love to hear that. Right on, man. Nitrogen makes the sky blue. See, there you go. I knew I had to do something with the gas. Nice. Right on. Well, that's something different. The sky is blue because the particles in the atmosphere deflect the light 90 degrees and the red light passes through without deflection. We saw that in that rainbow video. I don't know if anybody watched that, but it deflects the light with the rainbow. I watched that as well. It's pretty cool. Oxygen is blue. Oxides are always blue. Nice. Joe's got a coil coming to him on Friday, man. He's stoked. He showed me the power source. He got that all going. Got it in from Amazon, man. Yeah. Everybody's going to be rocking some coils here soon, man. Bernie You and me are gonna have to figure out what you need. Yeah, read everything. If you have any questions, by all means, hit me up on my email, dude. I'll try to answer as fast as I can, and get you the information. Watch the verification videos, pretty much the same way. Let's see, your circuit is green, red, and black. Obviously, the black one goes into the coil itself. You can see that because of the clip on it. The green is to the bottom of the coil, and the red one goes into the bottom of the number one coil, which you'll see right there. So just so you know, and if you need any help with that, just let me know. But that's the way it's configured. I have my setup here on the test rig I'm using right now the same way. Let's see. Sorry, I'm way behind on the comments, man. Yeah, fire it up, man. As soon as you do, post it on your both of you guys, you and Joe, post it up, man. Let's see what you got. Crypto. Hey, we're all that way, man. All of us. Oh man. All right, let's take a look at one more. I'll pull that one real quick. So this one right here. This one right here is when you first start it and then it begins to heat. You see it comes out in a little bit different look. She's gonna mount it upside down. Yeah, I don't know that I would mount it upside down, but it's definitely cool. Yeah, you can see it in there. It's not as brilliant as the other one, man, but this still looks cool. You can see it waving around in there, getting started. It needs to be excited to really get going. It needs to be heated up. So it kind of reminds me of that, and I'm not claiming it is in any way. That little plasma that comes out and gets in that donut shape. The stuff that goes on the inside kind of reminds me of that. So may not be the same thing, but it sure looks like it. One guy, one plasma jar. That's right. Yeah. I'm thinking it's the same thing. It just doesn't have enough room to configure properly. So, which, hey, that means if that's what's going on there, then I can use the one wire energy in a bulb that has that gas in there. Maybe I can get that donut to form. That would be a cool experiment. Anyway, yeah. Dude, we got some cool stuff going on, man. That energy down the center get some cool effects to it. Build a bug zapper out of it. Gets that would definitely be interesting. What do they have in there? Black light? Got to get some attraction stuff and some black light. Zap the living daylights out of these things, man. Yeah, there's no hiding from nothing, man. I don't do that stuff. Oh, yeah, the ring and the bulb. You guys have all seen it, man. That little toroid that builds in there. Yeah, I need to get a glass sphere with the right gas in it. Let's see. But you don't have to correct to do anything. Just put the bulb on the coil. There you go. There you go. Plays music and zaps bugs. Nice. Hot ring. There you go. You need a magnetic field to twist it up. Well, hey, it'd be a good thing to find out because everybody says there's a ton of apps on Tesla coils. Time to find out, isn't it? I know they're not there, but let's just try it. You know what I mean? It's all a conversion rate. Oh, let's see. Our answers did jewelry. I think they did definitely that. I believe they knew all the cast shadows at night and everything and planet from the day and the time side. They actually have a stone that they use for navigation that was part of the Vikings, and they were able to figure out based on where the shadow was the direction they needed to go. They helped them navigate quite a bit of stuff. So yeah, they definitely knew it. Definitely knew it. No secondary. Well, if you just put it on the primary, you definitely have a magnetic field there, especially if you use the ZVS driver. Man, you're going to monster magnetic field there. And it'll be oscillating on and off. I just don't know it'll be slow enough. Sunstone. There you go. they knew a lot more than we give them credit for, man. They were not in the Stone Age by any means. I'm sorry. That's completely wrong. They had heat metal, that's for sure. Oh, you just got here, man. Man, you missed a lot, brother. For the whole thing that has to do with the Graviflyer, you missed all that, man. We're just all kind of talking right now. Oh man. Oh, learn stuff every day. That's right. I constantly have to learn things every day, man, and everything I do. Nice. Yeah, man, working on other experiments too. That one got me today, though, man. Turn a Tesla coil sideways, just the number 2 coil, and picked up a ton more energy. And I'm not sure why that is. I mean, it goes to a bipolar Tesla coil, apparently, at that point, if there's no primary to it. It may be working in that configuration, and I just don't know it yet. It may be the process that's going on. So maybe the field that comes out of the primary one, the driving one, is pushing into being bipolar, which would make sense because it's on the side. So I don't know the exact process. I can't pin it down to that yet. I'd have to do more testing, but it could be. I could put it closer when I change the value. So what I was working on, guys, just so you know, I need to create my Slayer exciter at one frequency, right? Because my ZVS is kind of a cheat. It'll go back and forth based on the capacitance that I put into it to put it into the right resonance value to another coil separate from it. So what I'm trying to do is take my Slayer exciter and get an absolute value, and then I need to change that second coil to match that absolute value. And then once I do that, it'll go into resonance with it. So what's up, Jared? Long time no hear from you, man. Right on, brother. So much awesome work. I heard rumors you got tip over. Well, yeah, you heard them right, man. It's one of those things, Jared, to be honest with you. You do it and you can't reproduce it every time, so there's no use in showing it off, if you know what I mean. So you have to verify everything. And yeah, it's not necessarily tipped over, but I got the legs to come off the ground and everything. One day we'll have to get together, man, and talk about it, and you'll probably have the correct answer for me right away. But definitely working on it, man. I so close. That beat frequency got me, man. It drove all the resonance frequency out of resonance, is what it did, Jared, just so you know. And I didn't account for it because it's that little pin thing you put on the bottom. That's what it was. It gave a beat frequency off that kept it regulated. And who knows, when you build things out of the wrong way, you get something excited going on. So yeah, don't talk about it much, man, because I need to be able to reproduce it consistently in order to give you guys accurate information. So yeah, it's cool. Definitely have more going on there than what most people think. No video, man. No video. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Beat frequency. So what it was, so I want to say this. You know, under the craft where everything gets connected into it, because you're in high voltage field, you get how do I say it? It's almost like a robber circuit that happens in there, a leaching, if you want. When your wires aren't thick enough to handle the voltage and it goes right through it, you start picking up beat frequencies and things. And because this stuff was so unprotected, there was a beat frequency that would go in there. I thought it was an anomaly, like everybody else. Okay, let's regulate this out. Let's put the wires to it. Let's shield it a little bit. Well, that's my failure. It was that exact beat frequency that it would pick up that would regulate the craft, because everything in there from the Tesla coil to the high voltage is self-regulating once it's in there. That beat frequency cost me a lot of time. So yeah, the energy buildup and everything in there, man, exactly the way you said it. So yeah, Jared, we're gonna have to get together at some point in the future and get this thing done. So yep, that leeching gets you, man. You only know it if you work with high voltage, man. Let's see. With Charlie C, he went ahead and sent all the information to me. Charlie's really good. He sent me all the information on it. So we got all the pictures of everything. He broke down the sizes for us. He told us all the parameters around it. Jared went through the whole thing and mapped that out. Has a good spreadsheet for everything. Yeah, these guys did a lot of work on this thing, man. It wasn't just me. So yeah, everybody had the information to start with. It just took a lot of time to put it together. Oh, Jesse Michaels, I don't know anything about that. Yeah, dude, Charlie C's one of the best people you probably ever meet. Uh, he uh, he really, man, he's a really cool guy. He sent me a bunch of stuff, man, and he did it. You know what I mean, just to help the progress of the whole thing go along. So Charlie C is awesome, brother. Um, Keep your eyes peeled for a news article on the Graviflyer in your next few days. The week as a journalist tried to reach out to you, but he couldn't get a hold of you. Well, that kind of sucks, man. Next time, I don't know, throw him my email or whatever, and yeah, I'll speak with him about it. But oh well, things missed, man. Things missed. That's cool though. This article coming about it. That's awesome. Did I ever answer your question? I know we looked at it. Send it to me again, man. I'll answer it right now. Oh man, certain things I don't go into. Okay, right on, man. Oh man, yeah, kind of one of those things, man. When you get in a project, you work with everybody. I'm not out to make money, guys. I don't really care. I'm not out to patent anything. Um, so I care less. I work with anybody that would like to work with me as well. Let's see. Yeah, hey, they never are, Jared. They're never friendly. They, you watch one debunking video, and then all of a sudden everything turns into strange. Well, maybe it's good that they didn't interview me then. Maybe that's better off, because it would have gave them the wrong piece of my mind. Let's see. When you get it to work, will you make Type 2 more efficient? Dude, I'm going to tell you this right now, just so we all understand this. As soon as this thing comes off the ground, um, I guarantee you there will be a whole team working on it. So there's no question in my mind whatsoever that this thing's going to take precedent in everything. Because look, we just don't have something that's 3 pounds and lifts off the ground and floats in the air. Let's just be honest with each other. If you didn't want to work on it at that point, once it's proven, then I don't know what to tell you. And they'll definitely improve it because they go through every single aspect of it with a fine tooth comb and figure it out because they want to be able to amplify it and go for a bigger craft. So there's no question in my mind that that's definitely where it's going to go. So it just has to be done first. Let's see. Like any over unit electricity generator being used in electricity vehicles, devices, something. Yeah. Let me tell you what, man, there's a lot of over unity devices already out there. You just have to understand them. Once you do, you'll be able to put it in the correct resonance, which is number one in every single one of them. Yeah. You've seen a few universities tested already. That's pretty cool, man. Needs like a balance bar or something. Was regularly able to get 10 to 20 mn of lift, but nowhere near enough to get it off the ground. Yeah, you got to put it on the ground. It picks up energy that way. Remember those plates on there, when the piezo hits, it moves the center plate a little bit. So it's acting to pull in the energy like suction. It's like two plates, you put them together, like 9 volts, right? You pull them apart, 1,000 volts. Okay. It's doing that like 3 or 4 times before it takes off. So you got to imagine the energy there. But the energy, because the Tesla coil is coming from the center of the Tesla coil, it's pulling it out of the ground. So in order to amplify that energy, you have to have it on the ground in order to pull it like a ground would. So the grounding wire is only going to get you so much, but you got 3 legs on the ground, man. It amplifies that energy a lot. Getting that thing on the ground is massive. You know, even if it's concrete, you're getting that energy pulled to the ground. So I think you're going to get a lot more once you do it. I know you usually have it hanging up there. I would suggest you set it on the ground and then let it hit, because that one thing, and you know, it's a physics thing, man. It just pumps and pumps and pumps like this, and it's building up the energy in there. They infiltrated it. Huh. I'll be honest with you, man. For the amount of money it cost to try to build this thing, it's fairly cheap. It's easy to get into. You know what I mean? You're under $1,000. It'll definitely be over $1,000 as you get to play with it and blow stuff up. But yeah, yeah, it played a larger role in it. Well, you got to look at the way the testicle worked on there, Jared. If you just take a fluorescent light, right? Put it to the center of the Tesla coil. If you put grounding on the other side of that fluorescent bulb, it'll brighten up. So what does that tell you? It tells you that you're pulling it in from the ground. Well, the same effect going on in the Graviflyer. As soon as you put it in there, it gives it a higher value. I noticed that when I took it off the bench top that's on the table and put it on the ground, it would start to spark over faster. I had to readjust everything in there. Yeah, that's what we are, man. Just a bunch of smart dudes figuring it all out. Definitely, definitely got it going on, man. You've been working on the same devices based on these principles, right on. Yeah. Dude, if that's what you're working on, man, then all this stuff really fits into what you're doing. It's all going to work in the same way. I'm going to guarantee that. Once we found that field bubble, dude, it was over. How do I feel about the spiral periodic table? We talk about the Russell periodic table. I think it's right, and there's a lot more coils and stuff we can go into that would tell you about the resonance and how they work in harmonics and how they actually make the vortex in there. There's a lot of different experiments that'll tell you that as well. When you start making materials out of these coils, you start to understand there's something more going on there. It's absolutely right. Let's see. I honestly can't wait until someone shows it working. Plenty of people out there working on it. After all, one of them has to be able to successful. Absolutely right. I agree with that. Uh, somebody's got to get it. I'm close. I'm not there yet. I'll tell you what, though, if I get the legs to lift again, I'll show the video because people probably want to see that. Right on, brother. Yeah, I appreciate you working with me, man. It was awesome. Did I get the minor RPM change from the ultrasound? Yes. Let's see. See, like pushing the ultrasound was a super important 1.5 piezo makes it resonant perfectly. So check it out. It's actually a jewel thief circuit, not really an ultrasound circuit. So as soon as you were able to put your oscilloscope over to the toroid that's inside that little device, you see when it gets saturated. So when you hit the piezo, you can see the amplification point in it. It'll double the value that's going inside of that. So I checked it out. I have it on my channel. It works out. It doubles the value, but it's only at one spot in the entire thing. There is a spot where it rings on the outside. There's a spot on the other side where it rings on the outside. Both of them you can hear. I'm mostly deaf and I can hear them. And there's a spot in the center where it's perfect. In that very spot is where your amplification comes into. That is the one spot that'll double the value. That's the one you need. And it makes a tinking sound on the center plate. It goes tink, 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 tink as soon as you push the button. I have that on video. And it absolutely does work. So it made a lot of sense when I tapped the outside why it would go into a different value. Well, now we know why. Man, what's going on, Time Energy? Let's see about the periodic table. Yeah, Walter Russell. Nice. How do I feel about the Russell table? Like I said, I think it's right. The frequency is 100% based on where your Tesla coil is. Once you tune in your Tesla coil, the frequency matches it. That's why he was looking for the sound. So remember, we always thought, okay, Alexi's listening for something when he's playing with his Tesla coil, and he's over there playing with the ultrasound thing at the same time. So what he was doing was saturating that jewel thief toroid on the inside, and it would make a particular sound once he did. So the frequency changes as you change the value in your Tesla coil. So if you change your Tesla coil one day, the frequency change. If it's consistently every time, you get a perfect frequency. So yeah, it really is depending on that. And that saturation was the key. As soon as it did it, man, you can find it just like that. And you can turn the dial, find it. It shows up in multiple different ways. But I found it on the oscilloscope pretty easy because you push the button and boom, double the value. I think it went from, oh man, it's like 160 went to 320 on the energy in there. And I don't remember if that was millivolts or volts. I think it was millivolts. Tesla coil location. So, yeah. Well, I always keep mine away from it, man. It's generally probably about say 6 feet from it at all times. So I don't want it to have any value interference with the actual Graviflyer itself. So you put it longer if you want, but that frequency was key to figuring it out. And I showed it on a video, man. It's kind of rough because I had to turn the volume way up to do it to show it. But yeah, it worked perfectly. It was the sound he was looking for. I found it, and no fishing reel at all. Sorry, that was not how it came out. It sounded more like a sonar beep, a real faint sonar beep is what it sounded like. Right on, brother. Yeah, found just about everything you could find in that craft, man. Little faint sonar beep, man. You'd miss it if you weren't listening for it. Hard to hear. I put my microphone right up to it, the powered microphone, so you can hear everything that goes on there, man. And put it up when I was running a program, and it'd be able to tell you when it found the beep, and then you could tune it right in. Because you know me, 80% of my hearing's gone, so it's kind of hard for me to figure it out. But when you have it definitely tuned in, you'll hear it in the room. So I blew out one of my hearing aids because of it one day. So yeah, definitely in there. Definitely found the sound. No fishing reel, more like a sonar beep. The beep actually comes from the toroid itself. So on your ultrasound circuit, you'll listen for that. You'll hear it right there. I can see if I have the video, but it definitely pulls up just like that. Let me see. Uh, I don't remember which testing it was. And I'm really going to have to look for this thing. All right, give me a second. It's important to hear it because you need to know exactly what it sounds like. So this is one of them right here. And this is the piezo. I have the negative running through the center of my Tesla coil. I have the positive just connected to the positive of this thing. I have my probe over here, and that one's in yellow, and that's right over by the piezo. And then I have my other probe here. It's right here by this little torus shape in here. And what I'm trying to do is find the correct dial setting versus what the amplification is. And I think I finally found it. It's amplifying every time I touch it. It's not perfect, but I don't think this system gets to perfect. That this is the closest I've ever come to getting this thing right. It amplifies on both sides. So you can see the amplification right there. It's definitely doubled. So 320 millivolts is what it hit. But this one puts out, and it was normally, let's see if I show it. Yeah, it was a lot less. So you could definitely see the amplification and what's going on there. It definitely hit a higher value. All the way across, both positive and negative sides amplified. That was the point right there. I'm still looking for the other one real quick. Oh, I think I got it. Okay, so give me a second. So basically what you're looking at is on the upper left-hand corners is the rings you get. So every time that it went off, you match the ring. And then right there where I wrote bad on it, that right there is that beat frequency that ruins everything. It killed the wave. You could see it going in, and we got the ring. Boom, it killed the second one. That's what killed the craft right there. That's the problem I was having. Let me see if I got the sound on this one. I should have it right here.
And now we can predict it. Now we can do it. When we talk about the button push, this is what we're talking about. Here's the ultrasound device here. You see the button on the right and the dial on the left. As you push the button on the right, you're going to get the amplification part. Now, on the left, you still have to line up the frequency. So, how do you know which range to put it in? The greatest thing about Alexi's device is he did it so that you can hear sounds from it. So, as you move this dial, it's going to go click, and then you move it to the other side, go click. You get both of those sounds. Now, one's stronger than the other, so you put it towards the strong one. Generally, I found it's towards the bottom side. What you're doing is setting the parameter of your ultrasound. You're getting it set so that when you hit it, it goes max power on the ultrasound device. If you do it at the weaker side, you will not get as heavy of a push on the button. What does that mean? Heavy push on this. This is basically amplification. This whole ultrasound device is an amplification to the circuit. That's all you have to understand about it. It is where you set that dial is exactly how much amplification you're getting. Just think of it as a volume dial. You're setting the volume to max, then you're pushing the button. It's the simplest way to ever think about this. This right here is the triggering of the ultrasound piezo buzzer. It's going to pop. It's going to just make a distinct sound, but what it's doing is it's putting a pressure wave to the center plate and it's changing the octave in the center plate or changing the tune of the singer. So basically you're just getting this thing in tune so it lines up. Let me show you what I mean with some pictures. This is what we're looking at. We are right here in this picture 180 degrees out of phase. So what does that mean? We have to tune the singer or change the octave. We need to move that signal over top of the other one. Now pushing that button should align it to do it. I personally prefer tapping the center plate.
All right, sorry guys, give me just a second. That's the wrong video. Sorry. I'll have to find the right one. The one I have actually shows the sound. So it was in a live testing I did. Sorry. Sorry, Gerald, I'll send that to you. Sorry. Yes, it does. It does send it out that way. It because like I said, it's jewel thief. It saturates that little toroid core and then it sends it out and doubles the energy. So the same thing actually in the RF antenna. Yep. There you go. We're on the same page there. Sorry about that. I shouldn't look at these things in the last minute. My fault, guys. Sorry. Oh, yeah. So basically, you have those things, man, and they pick up the energy in the piezo and they double it right there. It amplifies it. But you also got to remember that it has that same effect as you're moving that center plate, man. You're changing the energy in the whole thing. Yeah. Well, it only had to do one job. If you notice when you take your static meter, look at the top plate's positive and the bottom underneath that same plate's negative. Well, as you push that piezo, it's flipping that. It's going to flip that field eventually. It'll push down, push down, push down. It's a bend, 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 break. And then for a very split second, the whole plate will turn positive. Does it to me a billion times, man. That's the part we all had to look at and figure out because every time you put it down on it, be positive on top. You go like this, the same center plate, be negative on the bottom. It wasn't until it pushed down enough to saturate the entire thing to force it up. So total change in how it works. You got smoking pork chops with applesauce. Nice. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. The middle plate. That's what I'm saying. In the middle plate, the whole top part's always positive. The bottom part of that same plate's always negative. And then every once in a while, once you tap it, it goes all positive. It's flipping. So I'm not so sure that upper disc doesn't flip too. And just hear me out on this. It sounds crazy, but it may be right. I think that an upper disc flips negative every once in a while. And then it would make total sense why it's pushing up because every time you do it, it's always chasing it. It's always chasing that other plate. It's a flip. I think that upper plate changed to negative as you change the center plate to all positive, and then you got it to push up. I think that's the process going on, but I cannot catch on camera or anywhere else that top plate switching. So it's something that you may have seen once in a while in testing that I haven't seen it, but I have a feeling it's going on. Sounds really right. The amount of charge changing in the mid plate would be, yep, that's right. I think we're on the same page, man. Same page all the way. So noticing the same things that are going on this thing. Yeah, definitely switching in there. There you go. Asymmetric capacitance. We're picking up extra energy in there. That's for sure. There's no question about it. It does it. So when you have this thing in tune, it'll shake just a little bit. People always give me crap about this thing, man, and say it's always wobbly, this or that. Well, it doesn't wobble normally. It's when I start putting it in resonance that it starts to wobble. And you can either intentionally do it by changing the dials there on your RPMs, or you can let it do it naturally. And Alexi let it do naturally. So, yeah, I mean, it'll get there either way. It just sometimes it takes longer. but you could definitely pull it right into resonance right away and start to get that curve that goes on. You start to get the two discs working in tandem with each other. Both of them they have to work that way. Like I said, it's a third wave. It's what's going on there. It's 1/3 of the total wave that's on the top, and it worked out that way because of the magnets themselves slow it down a lot. It won't let that bottom plate get up to speed like the top plate. Oh, TT Brown used he like I was saying earlier, he basically made those plates into an electric, and he kept it charged at all times. Is what he did. He made a capacitive electric out of those plates, man. So Joe was waiting for that one. Yeah, nice. Yeah, you guys got a lot of stuff going on, man. Ham radio, anyone? Nice. Yeah, their staff's basically had a tuning fork on the end of them, by the way. Right on, brother. Hey, I'd love to talk to you about that business, by the way, in the aluminum. There's a really cool effect that goes on with that. So maybe when we talk, we'll get into that a little bit too. I know you worked heavily on that. So right on, man. Thank you. Let's see. Nothing larger than a crystal radio hint. Crystal radios are fascinating, man. Right on, brother. You got it. Amplitude. As long as you're not using that lightning, man, to take it and try to use the energy from it, that's a bad proposition. It's a lot of energy. Oh, man. All right. Talk about this Graviflyer, man. Makes me want to get that project up and going again. That thing, I told you, like the bane of my existence sometimes. For every step forward, there's like 3 steps you take back. And that's really what happens in that thing. As soon as you fix one problem, 2 more appear. And you're constantly overcoming. And to everybody else, they don't see much in it. They just see it shakes around and doesn't do a whole lot. When you get into tuning it, man, it really becomes just a hair pulling out adventure is what it really becomes. You fix one thing, another thing breaks. So, yeah, I learned, to be honest with you, man, just to run it and go for it and see where you get. Make sure you have your amplification right. Make sure everything tuned in right. Make sure you can hear the points where it goes on. It really makes a big difference, man. I think that thing is eventually coming off the ground. Let's see. Only the dielectric vortex technology by Ronald Freire Skies has the fastest rate of induction, delivering the superior levitation. Love to see it, man. Not a problem there. If you got some levitation going on, man, I'm all for it. As long as it's not some kind of magnetic thing, I want to make sure it comes right off the ground, not a coil underneath. That tune your own adventure. Nice. Look, I mean, honestly, man, whoever's got it, and we'll all see whoever gets there first. It'll all be picked apart, man. That's why I think we're all close. We're all right there. Yeah, it's frustrating when things don't work right. I understand. Tubes of force. Interesting. Yeah, you got to know the parameters. Well, that's kind of what the show is, right? We learn everything, we go through it, and we teach, and you know what I mean? Whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. And I'm sure there's people over there that'll take what I say and put it in a physics form, and it'll come out perfect, man. And they'll find papers on exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen it happen time and time again. I can tell you about something. Probably a week later, you get a physics report about it. Somebody, already had it or whatever. It shows up everywhere. That's why we're all seeing it. Let me see if I can't find this picture, guys. It was really cool. Uh, Take a look at that. What does that look like to you, man? So remember we're looking at the breakout of the Tesla coil, and how they broke out into the little lines and stuff. That's exactly what that looks like to me. It definitely has a pattern to it. They're definitely breaking out of there. That's really cool, man. I think this is up by Alaska or something like that when they're looking at the northern lights. Yeah. It's really cool, man. Kind of something to get your head around, right? We're done. Brendan sent you a video. He wanted you to show it if you can explain it. All right. Not a problem. People locally here doing strange pics. Nice. I'd love to see that. Okay. Yeah, run out into space, man. Change the tuning parameters I verified by testing at different times a day. Right on. Well, look at it. I mean, we're seeing it right here. They basically tell you what you're dealing with. You go from how it breaks out in frequency on a discharge of a coil looks just like this. Then you get into a vacuum chamber experiment where it's basically just making the whole thing on the inside radiant. It pulls out from the center, blows it up, right? Well, that's what we're in. The energy's everywhere. When it gets changed, this is what it looks like. So, what does that tell you about what fields we're actually in? It pretty much tells you, hey, we now know exactly what's going on. There's no more mystery to it. We're basically in a big, gigantic radiant field bubble. We want to get to this level with the lines in it so that we can move in between them. You know what I mean? With the not Townsend, with the Byfield Brown effect is what we want to use in between these. You shoot that craft right across the sky. I think understanding this, man, will really have a big effect on how you build anti-gravity. So, all right, man. Let me look, Brandon. Let me see what you got. I don't think I'm getting any sound from that. Oh, I heard something. Yeah, I don't hear it either. I got the volume all the way up on it. And Nope, not hearing it. Sorry, give me a second. Let me see. Okay, Brendan, is that your music that's on that video? Sorry, I was just watching a little bit of it. Sounds like electricity. Global electric circuit. Okay. It's not your music. Okay, so I can't play the volume on that, just so you know. Or it is. Well, which one is it? No, where it is. I just mute it. Oh, all right, man. We'll put it up. It sounded better with the music, I'll tell you that. Kind of missed the context of the whole thing now. Huh. Yeah, sorry about that, man. I think we're gonna have to find yeah, I missed the whole thing with the context with the music missing. So you're going up on the roof now? Wow. He's back to the. All right, man. I don't think you're gonna get the answer to your question. Um, well, if you're receiving signals in there, they're gonna interrupt it, man. I would imagine that. So yeah, definitely pick up something. What was the question? Here you go. Back to the question, ham radio. Anyone takes snapshots during the pops from the global ionosphere discharges amplifying, using it to drive a high voltage coil? I never have. Lightning, nice. Let's see. When it was going around my house, there was no sound. Only heard the sound when I watched my video. Yeah, that video was awesome, man. Sorry about that, Brendan. We'll have to get together and have that ready beforehand. Stuff using tiny. Wow. Should have read that first. Oh, let's see. The Graviflyer could be used as a energy harvest from the ionosphere plasma bubbles, and their Q is like, okay, Tesla messed with those. Otis C. Carr, when he described his device, it was up in the ionosphere, and he said it would get over unity. Well, it would be like a corona motor at that point, pulling in the energy of the ionosphere. It's also like Tesla's radiant energy, where he pulled in the energy from the ionosphere. Definitely could do that, but I don't think Alexa got it high enough. I think what was he at, like 20 feet? I don't know that he definitely got it high enough to pull extra energy out of it that way. Um, yeah, that's just bad, Joe. All bad. Oh man, going up on the roof to mess with the antenna in a storm, man, that's bad. You can track these bubbles with ham radios. The Graviflyer connects to the ionosphere. It's a circular directional antenna when running. Interesting. That's interesting. Well, it makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yeah, there's more to it, man. I think there's going to be a whole nother world once we get it up in the air. Yeah, a whole nother world. So, sure. Bad Joe put himself in timeout. Huh. Yeah, tracking is fascinating, man. Could be marked as such as if it never flies. Yeah. Well, the cool thing about it, man, is when you create that field bubble. That was my favorite part of the whole adventure of doing this so far. Was that field bubble? Just I love messing with my computer in my room, man. When I got to push it and then hide it, push it, hide it. You know what I mean? When as you flip each one in inside and out, when you change from the Tesla coil being the center plate, then you put it on the top and bottom plate, man. Total game changer, man. Love that thing. Total understanding of how the field bubble works. And so when Sal Paya started coming out and talking about it, he said he got a field bubble. I'm like, dude, check mark already done. I already seen it. I already know what you're saying. Definitely there. I think the way to amplify this is field compression in the center of that static field. I've seen it in geometry coils where that static gets compressed inside of the field that's going on, and as it's 180 degrees out of phase, it flips back and forth, so it pushes on it as well. In that static field, it's continually opening and compressing that static field, just like the bubble is. I've seen that. So it's interesting that it works in the exact same manner. And then obviously T.T. Brown did it in his capacitance. So yeah, it turns on and off the lights in the house. Really? Huh. Got it hooked into the ground. Messing with the grounding in the house. That's funny. Yeah, I think that this stuff can be made on a bunch of different devices that would be much easier once it's all done. I think that definitely, because you don't need rotation in discs, you just need a rotational value. So you could do that in electric all day long. In a coil that you build, you get the value that rotate in one direction while the other one rotates in the other. Put them in resonance together, so one off, one on, just like that. It basically gets you the same thing, man, but the beat frequency would be easier to handle, and the frequency itself of each one could be set in the correct fashion. Then we can really, really put it in perspective of where it needs to go. Well, you're basically pushing it out, yeah. I mean, that's cool. 10 feet away. Yeah. I get things that light across my room, man, when I put out the coils in the right configuration. I'll be sitting over here at the little island I work on, and then over here behind me, man, something will go off because I have it in the same value. And it absolutely it's terrifying to watch if you don't know what's going on, because then light bulbs over there are starting to light up. I got smart after a while and just made sure that I knew which ones I was working in. So, but yeah, cool. Right on, brother. Appreciate you being here, man. Let's see. Any alignment like the magnet or whatever, including the alignment stuff? Not sure what we're going with there. Repeatedly fried the SSD, so solid state drive in the PC. Nice. Well, yeah, well, you knew it was happening when you started blinking your computer. You knew what it was doing. Your if you ever put devices next to it with your transistors and MOSFETs and have them on, you'll start changing values in them. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's saturating them a little bit than what normally. So it'll start changing the values in it. And because computers and stuff run zeros and ones, it's just on and off, really has some problems with it. So once you've created this kind of field, man, you'll understand why when they say a UFO went over a nuclear test site and started turning on and off their switches and stuff like that, absolutely a fact if they're unprotected. Let's see. So Nathan, the skull I got as my picture in the coil. I wanted to wire a bifilar coil wound inside of it in the coil. So you're going to create the coil on the outside and then a coil on the inside. Is that what you're saying? Let's see. Discharge pickup. Not sure what's in that reference to. You can pick up the discharge of a Tesla coil, yeah, but you have to balance the capacitance with the coil in order to put it in the correct frequency. And usually, most times when you go to do that, you just have to get the capacitance right. Then you can tune it in. But it also helps when you ground the second one. That's when you really put it in tune because then it can regulate itself. What's up, man? The coil next to this chat. Hold on. Oh, okay. So you got like a rodent coil going on there. Sounds like how limited designed is. Right on. Put in a biofile liquefaction. Nice. Let's see. He says he's revolutionizing tech. Right on, man. Love to see it. Have you on, man, if you want to. Thank you very much, man. I do appreciate that. Let's see what you got for a question. Have you heard of Nature Jab? You will like him. I'm gonna have to look that up. I have not heard of him yet. You're hungry, you gotta go out and cook barbecue. Understand what a kitchen is. Nice. Sounds like Joe, man. Yeah, I just want to say thank you again, man. I appreciate that, brother. Right on, man. After this, I'll take a look and see what you got going on in your channel, man. I'll shoot you an email. Bernie, get an air fryer. Nice. Dude, I'll be honest with you, man. I've been cooking ever since we went on that diet, man. I've been out there barbecuing. My whole family's into it now. Like a barbecue chicken, make some white rice, make some some green beans with it. Some asparagus, something like that. Always something green with it. Had some salads with it, man. Really good. So I didn't put any of that hot sauce on there, man. That was enough for me last time. Burnt my face off. Yeah. Gotta have barbecue, man. My whole family goes, "Oh, you're on that diet. You got all that good food over there. You're barbecuing every day. We're gonna get in on that." It was funny, man. You need a barbecue? I thought you said you had one. You're going out there to do it. Nice. Love barbecuing, man. Keeps you out there, keeps you good. Love steak when you do it, man. Oh, you got to get stuff that breaks down the steak a little bit when you put it in the marinade. And there's one at my Stater Brothers store over here that does it. And it really kind of just breaks down the steak a little bit so that when you cook it, you just put a nice sear on both sides, right? Then what you do is you turn off the two inside burners and you leave the two outside one going. So you're getting like a convection in it. And you plate the steaks right down the center. What it does, it doesn't allow you to overcook them and have too much heat on each side of them. And it just cooks the meat perfectly in there. Man, it works great. Same thing works in your charcoal grill. you could do the same thing. You could take these coals, excuse me, and then move them out to the outside and leave the center open. And when you put your chicken in there, man, on the center, oh, beautifully cooks them. That way the outside doesn't get crispy, you know what I mean, and messed up, while it still has a nice sear on it from when you first started the barbecue. Yeah. Love techniques in barbecue. Starving all of a sudden. Yeah, because we're talking about food. I'll tell you what, man. Check this out. So we had those wings that day, right? And you guys all see me burning my face. Well, remember Joe told me to put that extract, man, in the barbecue sauce. So I had mixed it around. I knew I was going to forget. Well, later on that day, man, was eating some more wings. You know what I mean? Because I had them for dinner. Well, there we go, man. Burned my face off again. So later that night, trust me, man, I was sucking down more drinks and having my face burnt off because I forgot to put that, what was it? The devil's blood or something, whatever, Satan's blood Joe tried to kill me with, that hot sauce. Yeah. See, that stuff was just nasty. Right on, brother. Let's see. Turning plastic into gas. It's cool. Dude, that would be cool. Now I'm gonna check that out. Nature Jab, dude. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for that. We're gonna have to check that out because plastic into gas. I like that. That's almost like the farmers, man, when they go out there and they put all that stuff under there. Usually they use cow poo for it, and they make it into some gas out there that you can use like it's propane or something, man. And it you can heat your house with it. What's going on, Simple Man? Oh man. Any tricks for what are you doing? Offset cooking? I do a lot of offset cooking with ribs. Ribs come out really good. Okay. So you're only going to get it about 250 degrees with your offset smoker. Ribs are on the inside, right? And you don't want any sear or anything on them. You just want to slow roast them. So go out there, get yourself some cherry wood or get some hickory, whatever one you like. Just keep it around those degrees. You'll be out there, 6 hours on them. Then you're going to go ahead and wrap them, butcher paper, or you're going to use some aluminum foil. At that point, put in your barbecue sauce. If you want sweet butter in there, just get it unsalted. Has a beautiful taste to it if you like sweet stuff. Comes out really nice, man. Wrap them, throw them back in there for another hour or two. You pull them off, all of the meat falls right off the bone. And you don't get a heavy anything. You get a nice smoke ring and stuff. You could do it with brisket, though it'll take quite a bit longer and you have to tend to the fire quite a bit. But yeah, really good stuff there. Vanilla bean ice cream. I like that one. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Oh, there you go, Crypto. Get your song, man. Need some baby back ribs. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Dude, brisket's awesome, man. You make those burn ends on there. Oh, it's totally epic right there. That is a labor of love going out and doing those. You gotta tend to that fire all the time. Interesting, man. Get all kinds of stuff. There you go. These are baby back barbecue ribs, man. There you go. Sing it up, brother. That stuff is good, though, man. Ribs, oh, love ribs, man. They got at the Applebee's, what is it? All you can eat riblets. So they cook the little tiny ones, man. They think they're going to get away from you because you're scared by the bone. Not a chance, buddy. I'm eating those big time. Nice, yeah. I don't get too much of that anymore, though. Let's see. Marinade in Pepsi or Dr. Pepper? Interesting. I don't know. You know what? I want to say Dr. Pepper would be better for me. Pepsi kind of has a little bit of a more acidy feel to it. The Dr. Pepper smooth, but it's got like what is it, prune juice or something in there? I don't know if it actually does, but it tastes like it. Sure has an effect of prune juice if you drink too much of it. Kansas City style? Yeah, a little dry rub? Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, you like Dr. Pepper better than cherry? Oh, cherry flavor's great, man. Dr. Pepper cherry? Love that one. By the way, cherry Coke is probably the best thing they ever came out with. Sorry, I don't like regular Coke, and cherry Pepsi tastes bad to me. I like cherry Coke, man. Really ice cold, man, coming right out of the the little mixer you get there. That's the best one, man. Where they put a little extra syrup in there. Yeah. Dr. Pepper has 23 flavors. Maybe. Back when I used to work for Coca-Cola, man, we distributed the Dr. Pepper and they had a lot of flavors. When I went to Colorado during a strike for Pepsi, um, they had a bunch of different things. It was distributed by 7 Up out there. And they had a couple extra different flavors. They keep coming up with cream, strawberry, and stuff like that. I'm sorry, if you want a cream soda, to go get one. Cherry, strawberries in there. It's garbage. Absolute garbage. So, Coke has always been good to you. Pepsi's too sweet. Well, yeah. And it always feels like it's a little more fuzz in there for fuzz carbonation in there for the Pepsi. So Coke always felt like it was more syrupy to me. IBC root beer, nice. Like that one. Definitely like that one. Yeah, dude, I work for both companies, man. Doing various jobs inside the factory, worked in the production facility, stuff like that. Was rebuilding filler valves and stuff like that. Really cool job, man. But takes all your time in your day, and I don't know. They pay you well, but it's kind of hard when you're young. But let's see. Oh, the green tea at Panda. Yeah, dude, that's some pretty good stuff. I like the tropical one they have there too. Definitely like the teas. Don't drink any soda. Let's just mix with well, yeah. You can't go wrong with the Coke in that scenario. Get a little rum with it. Yeah, I understand that. Twisted water, huh? Nice. That's that flavored water. I remember when they first came out with that, man, it had a manufactured taste to it. It's gotten a lot better. Yeah, teas are good. I get in trouble with teas, man. Teas have some calories in them. You got to get them a green tea. Arizona green tea is really good. Even the diet one's really good. Twisted water. Yeah. Get twisted tea, huh? Thinking of something different? Water with flavoring in it. Tastes like strawberries or peaches and other stuff. If I'm not mistaken, that's the one he's talking about. Nice. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I've heard of twisted tea and hot water. Not hot water. Um, you spun it at 1600 RPM in the mixer, huh? Nice. Carrot and orange, everyone loved it. Always be the flavor sold out. They stopped selling it. Hmm. Nice. I'll be honest with you, man. Beet juice is pretty good when you When you put it in that machine that gets all the juice out, you get a juicer. The beet juice is pretty good. That with a little bit of celery, dude, those are pretty good. I like some of that stuff. Good old moon gods. Nice. Moon rings like a bell. Now ask yourself, what frequency is it ringing at? Well, never know. Right on, my neighbor Paul, man. What's up, brother? 7.93 subscribers last week, 7.94 in just 2 to 3 days. Keep it up. Good work, Nathan. Thank you very much for that, man. I appreciate it. We're getting there, man. We're getting there. We're getting in almost to 8,000. Just got a little bit more push to go, and we get there. Drop a bunch more videos, and we'll end up there. Human residence for the moon. Oh, let's see. Carrot and orange is so good together. Nice. You know what? I think I've had that in a juicer. Is that what you're talking about? Water moon. How about the Blue Moon beer? Is that where you guys are going with that? Make a Star Trek replicator and make tons of nasty tested junk. No, thank you. No, thank you. Everyone's zoning out on drinks. Hey, man, you get everybody started, they're going to give you their favorites. Okay. That's just the way it works around here. Huh. Oh, man. Yeah, I like the, flavored drinks. The hardest part about a diet isn't the food, it's the drink. You don't get anything good. You get water. And that really sucks. Fast out diet's not so bad. Don't mind the fasting, don't mind the food. Okay, it's all good. The water sucks. That's the part I have a problem with. I love having a flavored drink or something like that, man. Just keep you going. Man, I'm definitely walking into the conversation in the wrong part of this. Like the ultrasonic vibration on those balls. I have no idea what that's all about, but it just sounds hilarious. Coke, dude, really? Coke Zero? Oh my God, dude, they couldn't give that stuff away back when I worked for them. Really? You like that one? Wow. Nice. Dude, like I said, I have no idea where that statement came from. It just sounded hilarious. Ionic water is the best. Well, I don't know. I've never tried it, to be honest with you. You think a lot of people like it too? I guess, man. They pushed it long enough. It's just got a different sugar in it, doesn't it? It's like a sweetener or something instead of regular sugar. Nice. You know how they levitate the small balls in the ultrasonic machine? Well, the moon is really that ball. Okay. Now that makes more sense than just vibrating your balls. You get a total different meaning there. Pure gold water tastes pretty sweet. Nice. Wow. Things you learn. It's the only soda that has plenty of rising G sales. What are G sales? I saw something about it recently. I think it uses Splenda. Well, that explains the taste. Uh-oh. We don't get into that. And the vibrator is the Schumann resonance. Wow. Oh. Oh my God. That just sounds bad. Okay. Stop eating fatty. Cole Robinson's snake diet. I'll be honest with you, man. If you're talking about me, bro, I didn't gain this weight from eating fat food or sugars. I don't eat cake. I don't eat sugars like that. I had a problem, man. Anti-inflammatory or inflammatory stuff going on, and it would amplify anytime that you drink any kind of soda or anything. So threw my whole body out of whack. Most of my life, man, I've been in shape, except for now. Let's see. Oh man, let's see. The hydro water is doing good. Got the doctor water pitcher version. Nice. Just sharing the channel. Okay. Yeah, I get in trouble talking about a lot of that stuff and vitamins and stuff. I try to avoid all that stuff. You know, all that kind of advice, man. Got to be a professional and have documentation, or else YouTube cracks down on you pretty hard. Um, Too many sweet treats? No, not into that. Oh man, wife's into that stuff, cakes and stuff like that. Not me. That stuff, it gets you after a while, man. Makes you want to puke. I remember as a kid, we used to take the white bread from local Stater Brothers here, probably the local market in your place. We'd get the frosting. We always buy things of frosting for cakes. Well, let's just say they never made it to the cake. We used to take the bread and put it on the bread and eat that as kids. And that was really good, man. Put on some sprinkles and stuff. We had them in the house, their own little cake on a piece of bread. Of course, we were poor, so that's was a treat for us. Mom was mad every time, but definitely was good. A lot of inventive things when you're poor. I can tell you that. Ramen noodles are good. I don't know if you guys have those. We didn't cook them though. So you just cracked open the little packet. You crack the ramen noodle in half, and then you just spread the packet on there and flavoring on each one, man, and then ate the crunchy one. Gee, that was the best. Oh man, haven't had a packet over a month. Nice. Buldak. Nice. Country ramen in Bakersfield. Right on, man. Yeah, crunchy ramen's good, man. My kids still eat that stuff today. Lemonade, I like lemonade. Yeah. No, you and Joe's conversations, I don't know if they're ready for YouTube. Let me just say it that way. You got a little dry ramen yourself, man. Dry ramen's good, man. Never knock it till you try that one. That whole couple cents you spent on that, man, it gets you through some dark times when you're poor. I remember, man, I was so poor. I had bought a house and didn't have enough money, so I'd buy a pizza, and that one pizza had to last me 3 days, man. That's how poor I was. Staying all away from all that stuff. It's just funny. It cooks in your stomach. Yeah, maybe. Definitely crunchy. That's for sure. Well, those flavor packets, man, they put all that weird stuff in there. It tastes really good. I mean, they say it's just what is it? A little cube thing, flavor cube or whatever. But I think they add something extra in there. The MSG, maybe blows up in your stomach. You're all skinny, and then as soon as it kicks in, all the noodles get all big in your stomach. Huh. Bouillon, yeah, there you go. That's the one I was thinking of. You ain't poor if you can afford a house, even if you afford a burger. Well, let's put it this way. Look, 22 years old, man, bought my first house. And I had just gotten a job that paid more. And it wasn't a job where you get all your money. So it was a sales job. So you got partial your money, right? When you went to work every day, and the other part was on sales. So it made you hustle for those sales a bit more in doing it. But yeah, dude, enough money to get a house, but not enough to feed yourself real well. Ooh, I hope it's not Teflon in there. That stuff's nasty. I just watched a special on that stuff. That stuff does not break down well. Your pizza must be XXL in California. Actually, just a regular large pizza for 3 days, man. Told you it was a lot skinnier back then, about 220 pounds. Yeah. Well, look. Yeah, it was a long time ago, man. I was 22 years old, bro. Bought a house when I was very young, man. Knew how to do finances really well. Okay. Bought my diesel that way. Bought it, paid it off within a few months. So yeah. Only a whole food gets real food. Yeah. Sound like a formula, man. Yeah, dude. Look, let me tell you what. Those little morsels around the box didn't last. Okay. I was working all the time anyway. There wasn't, I mean, nothing you could do about it. So that's right. If it's healthy, Walmart has to get rid of it. Oh man. Yeah, I remember, dude. Growing up, we used to take the popsicle sticks and make boats out of them. And we had all the gutters that would go down, man. It was like a little bit of a curve going down the street. So you boat race your little popsicle sticks, man. You'd always go after the ice cream man when he came by. Get you an ice cream when you're a kid, man. We grew up poor. My dad was a general contractor, so he got paid when the job was done. So you go like starving, 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 and then abundance of food, and then back to starving. So it was like a roller coaster ride, man. Kind of wild. And then we go with, but dad just had a truck, and the next thing you know, he got paid, he's got a boat. And then we, we went back to starving, he didn't have a boat no more. I've seen that several times, man. Oh, yeah, no schematic for no chocolates, man. Oh, yeah, Brendan and Joe going at it again. Okay. Yeah, we will not be trying her too. That's all you, man. All you. Sorry, man. Don't need no sweets. He started it. Like little kids, he started it. Yeah. Let's see. An uncle had a phase of easy credit. Nice. Yeah, make it those easy. Get some yeast in you and learn. Oh, can't have anything. I had to stop eating pizza, by the way, because of the yeast. It's just bad for you. Oh, trying to replicate a chocolate mouse. Oh, not easy to make pizza dough. Yeah, you gotta let it rise. Usually the problem, man. Made all that stuff, man. When you're young, get all kind of different stuff, man. I tried to make the perfect buns when you do that, and I didn't have the right device to put them in to get it to rise properly. So yeah, couldn't do that, man. It always sucked. You're more hungry than ever now, dude. Telling you, man. Some days we made those wings. Oh man, they came out looking so good that day. Man, I was all excited. My daughter went in there and found them and just mowed on them. Yeah, dude, they make pizza in California. It's so different. Like they make cardboard pizza in California. I swear they just draw the toppings on it, and it's a bunch of skinny people eating cardboard. It's Dude, it is so bad. It's like, you see it on those chef shows, they get really thin, super thin crust, and it's like they praise it as the greatest thing ever when it's really like a brick. It's a thin brick and it just sucks. It Dude, those pizzas are horrifying. Those are those are for weird people in California, man, not for me. And then you go back east and they call them pies because the crust is like this, dude. It's like, what happened there? And then they just take squares of cheese and throw them on top. They don't even cover the whole top. And it's all about the sauce, I guess. It's just totally weird. I just like a normal pizza, man. You know what I mean? Normal Domino's pizza would work. I love Pizza Hut. Those are really good. Back when they first came out with the Pizza Hut breadsticks with the cheesy, those are the best. So, yeah, a little bit of cheese in the crust is good once in a while, man. Though it's all fattening. Or Little Caesars when they had the cheesy breads, man. If they know how to make them at the place you're at, man, they're awesome. If they don't, marinara sauce, love that. Right on, brother. Have a great night, man. Yeah. You got 3D printed chocolate quartz. That just sounds bad. Oh, man. All right. I guess it's dinner time, man. All right, guys. I want to thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Talking about some food, the Graviflyer, some cool stuff, man. We'll see you on Friday with Joe. Got some cool stuff going on, man. We'll see what we're talking about then, man. Dude, I ate that pizza, that little one piece, man. It didn't go far. I appreciate it, Paul. Not allowed to eat any more than that. It'll swell my body. So you get the one. That's it. Taco Bell, nice. uh, talk about liberal Cali pizza. Oh man, it's not the same, Joe. Where you are, a totally different idea of what a pizza is versus in California. Let me just tell you that. All right, guys. Have a great night, man. Appreciate it. If you guys can help Joe go mining, man, it'd be really awesome, brother. With that said, I'll see you guys on Friday.
The old man built. The old man built. The old man built. The old man built. The old man builds is broken in the head. People not seeing reality has put them in the red. Where conscious and spirituality been stricken from the norm and replaced with the ignorance of basic magnetic form. The geometry of God keeps running through his head. That's what makes old man builds broken in the head. The old man builds. The old man builds. Spheres of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds.